Hey Shooby-Doodlers, how are you doing? Well, it is March 2020 and coronavirus is what everybody is talking about. And so if you are stuck in isolation, twiddling your thumbs and wondering what to do, I thought I would show you how to draw the coronavirus. So let's not talk about it, let's do it. So the coronavirus, I don't think anybody really knows what it looks like, but it's... we keep seeing images. I keep seeing images of it on the news programs, news headlines and things like that. And so basically it's a sphere, it's a circle. And then we have a whole lot of ellipses to be taken into account. So what I'm going to do is to think, well, that's going to be about the center. And there's it's like lots of little mushrooms growing from it, and I've seen lots of different variations on this. I think they've all just been dreamed up by graphic designers really on a lazy Saturday afternoon. So I'm going to draw another circle around like that, and so from there to there is a distance, and then I want slightly less and then slightly less again. So I'm going to kind of do 3 circuits like that, and from here I'm going to do say 1, 2, 3, something like that, and then we have got little mushrooms growing on the end like that. But these are not circles, these are going to be ellipses because they're kind of leaning out a bit, and they want to be a little bit fatter than that, I think, not quite so slim. And this one in the center here is going to be staring straight out at us. Now the next ones are going to be starting on that outer rim, and these are going to be much slimmer, so we're just going to do, or skinnier, so it's like you've squashed it in. Let's have a look what's going on here. There is a circle, okay, and when you turn the angle it turns into an ellipse like that. Okay, so this is what we're doing. As it turns around the angle a bit, then we are going to get the circle that we're seeing from the top is going to turn into an ellipse. Now, in fact, I think this one probably wants to be more out there, because we want these stalks as well there, and then we're going to have another more 1, 2, 3 kind of sticking out there, and these are going to be really, really much more squashed like that. And then we're going to get some that are sticking right up on the edge, and they're going to be pretty flat on the top, like kind of mushrooms like that. We'll have another one there, and then we're going to have some which are kind of over on the other side, and we're going to see little bits of the underside of the mushroom sort of sticking over the top there like that. So that's phase 1, planning of the drawing, and now we want to actually draw the thing. So here I'm going to draw a circle, and my pen, the fibre has kind of split. Okay, so it's acting strangely today. Now these are going to be elliptoid, elliptical. These are going to be even more elliptical. So these are flatter ellipses. I'm sure I'm not using the right technical term. I feel there should be something else in about here actually, so I'm going to put in, because that kind of feels a bit empty there, so I'm going to put in some extras maybe in there like that, which is making a lot more work for myself, but there we go. So these are going to be quite just more elliptical than we've had before, so these are more squashed. And if you want to learn about ellipses, and if you want to get good at ellipses, I did a thing on Patreon just recently where I kind of did a sheet of kind of ellipses where you can kind of practice by going around them. What I'm doing here is I'm adding a bit of shade. I'll do that later. I need to talk about the shade. And to get to sort of draw ellipses with a bit of confidence, you just really need to practice drawing ellipses, and so you can have a guide and kind of practice drawing over the top, like the one I have on my Patreon page for you. The link's up here, or or you just kind of draw lots of ellipses until you kind of feel confident in what you're doing. Now these ones are going to be very squashed, and that's going to be on these little mushroom kind of stalks, and that one again is going to be quite like that. That's going to be quite squashed there. And what are we doing? I think we want a very squashed one there as well. There's still seeing these on this side of the sphere that is the basic center of the virus. And again, I think that's going to be a very squashed one there. And we'll have a very squashed one in there too. Very squashed one there. And maybe one more squashed one there like that. And then we need to draw the sphere, and whenever I see it drawn, it has quite a crinkly kind of edge, so we'll go around the circle, we'll make it quite crinkly like that. And I'm going to try doing, when I shade it, I'm going to try an interesting, different way, not just cross-hatching it. I'm going to try and use texture to shade this, to make it a bit more interesting. Now here we're going to see the underside of these ones, so we need to see we'll have another one in there, I think. We'll see the stalk going up underneath like that. So we put the stalk in and then go around. We might have another one about there. I think we can squeeze one in and another one like that. I'm going to dry this with my hairdryer, because when you come to erase those pencil lines, you want to make sure that the ink is dry, or else it'll go all smudgy like it has there a bit, I think, but we'll not talk about that. So I missed one there, didn't I? So let's think about where the light is coming from. Let's assume the light is coming from this direction. Although it's so microscopic, you probably find light doesn't really have a lot to do with it. So I'm going to put these little bits in here like that. Oh, we're missing a thingy there. Just to give a kind of a shape to the edges, and kind of make them more disc-like rather than just ellipses. So if you kind of imagine they're kind of sort of flat M&Ms or Smarties. We have a candy here in the UK called Smarties, which were here before we ever knew about M&Ms, and they're very, very similar. So they're chocolate, candy-covered chocolate, and we need a thingy there as well. So I would tend to think of them as being Smartie shaped. But we've had M&Ms here for so long that we kind of do think in terms of M&Ms now. And let's put a little bit of thickness there. And ideally you want it kind of on this side of the disc, so it's sort of showing where it's kind of where the thickness is, but you really want it on the side of the thickness where the shadow will fall, if that makes any sense at all. And now I'm going to sort of shade under there, and put a little bit of shade under these as well. I think we can put shade there, because that's the looking from underneath, isn't it? And some shade there. That can be shaded like that. And now the light is actually kind of shining on the side of that stalk there, and it's starting to shine in there as well a bit, I think. So you want to think about you really have to think about where the shading is going to go with this. And here I think then the sphere is actually shading what is going on there. It's kind of in the shadow, on the dark side of the virus. The dark side of the virus. And now we're going to try and put some texture in here, and I'm going to do lots of these little kind of things, because we want to get a kind of a feeling of texture on the surface of the virus, the main sphere. So I'm just going to do lots of these little kind of random lines like that. As a sphere, if the light is coming here, then this is kind of where the main light is going to be reflected. So we want very little of these lines over there, and we're going to have to kind of cover the whole of the surface except for around there. Everything's getting a bit lighter as you get to that point where the light will be reflecting on this surface. So I'll kind of go around there, and it's just these kind of little flicky, curly, wiggly, squiggly marks that we want to do. And if we can kind of get a feeling, an even spread of these marks all around the surface of the sphere, except around there, as I said, where there's the main reflection. And now we can get back to here. Around the edge here, we're going to get ambient light, so we don't want a huge amount there, but we start putting more in around here, and you can kind of work out from the little mushroom bits. And we're just trying to make it a darker kind of crescent around here. And so when I've finished this, I'm going to make another video that will show you how to paint it, but I'm only going to put that on Patreon. So again, you know, come and join us on Patreon, and you'll find that quite a few of my drawings, my Draw Stuff Real Easy channel, which I do sort of stuff on there, and I draw stuff on there, but then I colour them in watercolours on Patreon, so you get to learn a bit of watercolour technique as well, along with all sorts of other stuff that you get on Patreon too. I mean, if you just join up, you'll instantly get a download copy of my book Everyone Can Draw, and higher tiers will get a copy of my book, an ebook version of how to draw ancient Greek stuff, and you get loads more videos that I've made over the years that you can trawl through, and drawing courses and downloads, all sorts of stuff. Click up here, as I say. Come and join us on Patreon. And so I'm mostly doing dots here. It's because I'm talking. I really should be doing squiggly marks, really, shouldn't I? And I think you can see, because I'm looking on the camera, I think you can see that there's a feeling of shape now appearing with all this tone. It's textured tones. The tone will give you light and dark, and that's what we're trying to get, so light and dark shapes. In fact, it's so so wiggly and squiggly. My thumb is starting to ache now, holding the pen like this. We want to get in close underneath these mushrooms, get in close so that we can sort of highlight the edges and make them stand out a bit more obviously. And then, you know, some of them, the light's coming here, so the sun or whatever the light source is, X-rays, will be casting a shadow as well of that mushroom bit there, and it'll be casting shadows here too. So, yeah, in a lot of my drawings I'll be doing cross-hatching to create this tone, but here, because we want that texture as well, I'm going to use this squiggliness, and I think we get a bit of shadow there too, like that, and we'll get some shadow in there, even though it's on the bright spot, but we will get shadow there. We'll get some more shadow there. We'll get some shadow in underneath there and here. So this is an exercise in resilience to just keep going, really, I think. I'm looking at the camera. It looks better in the camera, actually. So, because it's a bit smaller and more compact, I think, than as I'm drawing it. And I think you can probably carry on doing this till the cows come home, or until someone sneezes all over you and you catch the virus yourself. So, I mean, if you're watching this in 10 years' time, or 50 years' time, or, you know, maybe 100 years' time as an archaeological evidence gathering thing, you know, when there were only three humans left in the world or something, everyone having succumbed to coronavirus 2 in, you know, I don't know. What's going on now? Well, you know, they've got the Chinese. China seems to have got things a bit under control, which is where it all started in Hubei province, and we here in the UK have got about 200 cases, and sadly 2 people have died, and they're kind of older people with underlying problems. But what's really interesting is how different countries are treating the whole thing and affecting, you know, getting on with it. So I think we're doing quite well. I'm slightly worried about the States, where I think President Trump, I think, is going to turn it into a political event. We shall see, because he's worried. He's probably more worried about the stock exchange going down rather than people suffering from the virus. I don't know. Right, let's get into a bit political now. I think maybe we could have another one in there like that, and they could just be quite dark in there. I think just seeing the tops of some on the other side there like that. What I might do is kind of add some little kind of movement things and little blobs, as if it's in your bloodstream and it's just kind of passing through. At least I hope it's just passing through and doesn't linger. So if you have got coronavirus and you're just sitting there bored thinking I need to do something, and you're drawing this, then I hope you get well soon. And if you haven't got coronavirus yet, then remember to keep washing your hands, sing happy birthday while you're doing it. I think soap washing, hand washing is probably the best thing you can do. And in the meantime, keep watching, and drawing. And I'll see you next time. You take care now. Bye-bye.